I hope that everybody's having a good day. I've been pretty quiet on this channel for a while, and I'm saying I really need to talk with my community about what's going on and, updates and stuff like that. The first thing we're going to talk about is this surgery I had on October 18th, 2025. And I'm going to discuss with you all of the force majeures that have been involved with this. And I still hadn't hardly healed up at all because of force majeures. And first of all, so everybody knows, a force majeure is an outside, unforeseen event that prevents a person from fulfilling like a contract or an obligation. An example of a force majeure, like I'll just tell you, was like medical supplies that I needed to treat this wound. A storm hit the facility where the supplies come from and are mailed out, and due to the damage, I couldn't get any supplies. That's a force majeure, an example of one. So we're going to start talking about this. And force majeure is a legal term for the example like I told you. So the first majeure was right after I got out of the hospital. There was a party that was going to be seeing me with my wound and the treatment. They missed 2 appointments in a 2-week period. No call, no show, very vague on everything. And then the other people that were seeing me, it was very vague for them and frustrating. That was the first force majeure. The second one was it was always real iffy when I was going to be seen by this first party, the one that missed 2 appointments. And I had no control over that. I tried to call and went out of my way and couldn't get through. And that was the second force majeure that prevented me from getting healed up. We're over 4 months now, and March 18th will be 5 months that this has gone on. So the third thing was this same party had treated me. We were like 2.5 months into my treatment at that time. And like within 3 days, sprung it on me that there were maternal issues with her and, pregnancy issues. And all of a sudden, like in about 3 days, wasn't going to be able to see me anymore. And she had to totally quit just that quick from being a doctor. So that was another force majeure. So then 2025 turns over to 2026. Insurance changed regulations, so therefore I could not get the skin grafts that I needed to heal this wound. That was another force majeure that was totally out of my control. Then we find out the next day Oklahoma is out of 6 states trying some pilot program with some bureaucracy that has made it impossible for me to get the medical supplies I needed. That was another force majeure a day later. And like I told you, it was accurate that I had medical supplies and things I needed ordered out of a facility. And it was true, a storm hit the facility and they could not ship me any medical supplies from their facility for a month and a half, as how long this storm had them out of commission. Number 7, I was referred to a new wound care company. And a second party in this thing promised me and said that it was pre-approved and promised me I would have no out-of-pocket expenses, that my insurance would cover it all, and I would have no copays. So, about a month later, it comes to pass, I get a bill in the mail. It's for a few $100s. And I show it to the other nurse, and he's like, no, something there's not right. And so then the actual company calls me and tells me right directly over the phone, right out of their mouth, that I have to pay a $3,000 deductible, have to meet my deductible again on my insurance, and then after the $3,000 deductible is met, I have to pay a 20% copay. And so that happened. So then it went from bad to worse. And they want me to get a wound vac. And I was told that's thousands of dollars. And I haven't met my deductible yet. I don't know how in the hell I'm going to do that right now. And then a wound vac was thousands of dollars, is all I was told. I don't know how many thousand. And I'll have at least a 20% out-of-pocket cost on that. So, it's not definite yet. I don't really know what's going to happen. Probably not going to find out till Monday, but they may be fixing to get let go, for telling me a fib like that. Lying to me, I wouldn't be charged, so I'd hire them and then springing that on me the last 24 hours and the last 12 hours. And I had no control over that whatsoever. The next force majeure was I have constantly been told things that are not true. I've been told a lot of things that are not true. And I'll just leave it there. And when I say a lot of things, I mean 2-3 times a week I'm told things that are not true. Number 9, there was another force majeure because I had to see a registered nurse to redo my paperwork. Well, that party got my paperwork messed up, didn't fill out my paperwork right. Plus, on top of that, me as a patient, I had to tell the doctor how to do the orders to pack my wound. I had to sit there and I had to cut up the strips. And I had to cut them up like the order said. I had to do that for this registered nurse. And that registered nurse is no longer employed. I'll just leave it there. She's no longer employed at that institution. And another party told me, yeah, it's really bad. when the patient has to be the doctor. And that statement was made. And so that's like only the first time. Again, back in December, there was talk of me having 2 more possible surgery, choices. And we come to find out that the surgeon had my wound mixed up with another patient. And the wound that he was looking at and they were recommending the surgery on was not my wound. This was somebody else's wound, and I was getting the surgery recommendations on my body for somebody else's body, or my wound for somebody else's wound. And then we come to find out for my wound, those 2 surgical practices don't even apply and are not even options that are even mentioned in the medical practice for my wound as I crossed up that gap. So they got my paperwork and charts messed up again. And the next thing is there's been like 3 or 4 different parties seeing me. Every one of them will get a different measurement on my wound. Like, for example, one person will measure 1 week 7 centimeters. One of the nurses got 4.2 centimeters. Then they would jump back up to 8.4 centimeters, one of them. Then another one was 4.1 centimeters. Then another one was 7 centimeters. And then today, they said I was 7.5 centimeters. So, another thing that's going on is nobody can measure the depths of this wound correctly, apparently. And then another thing is the insurance keeps changing up who I'm seeing, and like when I have scheduled RN visits, or when I got to see wound care, or when I got to see the regular nurse. They keep changing up my schedule. They tell me, it's a month, like till I have to see the RN, and then they come back the next day and they say, well, it's 2 weeks. You got to see them on the 16th of the month. And then we're sending such and such. And then all of that, I just don't ever really know who I'm seeing and when. And those are all the force majeures that I've had, and me as a patient, I have bent over backwards to do everything to get this to heal up. And I'm just going to say that the exudant or discharge from the wound has caused the packing to fall out. So I requested daily dressing changes. And the insurance won't allow that. And that was another force majeure, something I didn't have no control over. And so these deductibles and these out-of-pocket costs, I was going to try to, there is one thing that's pending right now. With my hospital bills, there's a thing that's pending right now to take care of that. A couple $1,000. And so So this new thing that's out of pocket, I can't get Medicaid because Medicare won't allow that for me, so I can get help, paying my deductibles and all this out-of-pocket stuff. And I'm saying that's a force majeure. I don't have any control over Medicaid and Medicare, the rules on that they won't let me do, two things at once so I can get this dressing changed as I need it changed and desire it as a patient. And so, with that said, I needed to talk with my community, so now we're going to change the subject. Well, on both of my YouTube accounts, with the comments, I can't reply back or anything on my own channel because there's some stupid ass blue dot by it, and then I just hit reply and it says an error occurred, and this has been going on on one of my channels for 6 months now, and now it's on this one, and I'm about so disgusted with that, I'm just about ready to set up a Rumble account, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, and move to Rumble and let that be cursed and be done. And I don't know if I'm going to delete my channels or not. I'm so angry and aggravated, I don't know if I'm going to delete all my stuff or not. I will probably just move to another platform and leave it at that, most likely. And I'll just upload a video of when I've moved and all of that. And I'm getting rid of that problem too. And I'm just going to say that when I need help with something, with technology, I can't ever get it. I got to haggle with people 2 to 3 years to get them to help me. I have to pay them bribes, like I had to bribe this one guy a whole month's of apartment rent to get him to help me do some stuff I needed help with. Like clearing my YouTube cache, CACHE. I had to pay like $500 to get it done. And I was so angry and furious that day that it didn't bother me to spend $500 and just get it done. And that was in 2021 is when this happened. And since I can't get help with any of that stuff, I'm going to just leave the platform and go somewhere else. And changing the subject again, with all this bureaucracy in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma, by what I've heard, is one of the worst healthcare states of anywhere. And this wound will be 5 months on me at 7 to 7.5 centimeters. And I'm guessing around 7 centimeters is accurate. Because I can average, on an average, I come out about 7 centimeters on a lot of it. So, and I may move out of Oklahoma completely so I can go get the medical treatment that I really need in another state. And I may sell my house and I may sell everything I got and move to another state so I can get this thing healed up. And my wound has been stalled out at 7 centimeters for 2.5 months now. And they'll tell me, oh, it's getting better. Oh, it's getting better. And then they'll do another measurement, and then another, and they'll say, yeah, you're at 8.4 centimeters. And I'm like, WTF, y'all, WTF. And I'll be nice about it. I won't cuss. And I'm just saying I needed to get all of this off my chest, and I'm beginning to believe that when you have a perianal abscess, I'm beginning to believe that those wounds are not healable, that those are wounds and tunnels that stay in your bottom end lifelong, just like a cancer diagnosis. I'm really starting to believe that. And I feel at this time that that is true about anal wounds, that they're non-healing, not possible to heal up, and might as well be like a cancer diagnosis, because I feel like that you'll have them for the rest of your life, and there is no solution to ever get them to heal up or to get the depth to reduce. And I'm really that discouraged, and I needed to get that off my chest with my community. And I probably, if I can't reply to comments, I'm going to be changing platforms. Period. Much love, everybody. Glad we got it off my chest.